Hi friends, it's Cheryl from the Lifestyle Digs, and I'm coming to you again from the sun deck, and I'm on my porch swing. And yeah, it's cold outside today. It's June 24th, and it was raining last night, and it's cold. We've actually had a very cold June. Either if it's not been raining, it's been cold. So I'm actually kind of I wish I hadn't taken my sweater off because I am kind of cold out here. Anyway, today I'm here to do a review on an online dating website called OurTime. OurTime is just like it sounds, ourtime.com if you're looking for that. And OurTime is kind of a niche dating site. It is marketed to mature singles over the age of 50. Now, even though it is marketed to people over the age of 50, bottom line is anyone who's over the age of 18 can sign up for OurTime. And OurTime has a free membership. And also, but they really want you to be a paying membership. And the difference is if you have a free membership, you cannot communicate with other people on OurTime. So you cannot read messages that are sent to you. You also cannot send messages to anybody else. So if you want to sign up, you can communicate with other people. But here comes the bad part, that if you pay for a membership with OurTime, you send a message to somebody, you have no way of knowing if they're a paying member and if they could actually read your message. So what you don't know is if the person just can't read it because they don't pay for a membership, or whether they're just not into you and that's why they didn't respond to you. And yes, as you saw there with my dog Shadow, sometimes us women are just better off with our dogs. So I signed up for OurTime in September of 2019. Yeah, look, I got mosquitoes landing on my keyboard. That's how cold it is out here. Anyway, I signed up in September 2019, but I didn't do anything. I did not upload a photo of myself. I didn't write anything about myself. I did nothing. I just signed up for a free site. So basically, what happened next is that OurTime would send me an email every day with 8 potential matches, and from there I could click on anybody. So I could look at other people's profiles with my free membership, but I just couldn't communicate with anybody. Other than the fact, if I like somebody's photo, I can click, there's a little thumbs up icon, so I can click that to say, yeah, I like your photo. But what it does is it sends an email to the person that they got a message. Well, they didn't get a message. And that's the big problem with OurTime. You don't actually get a message. Sometimes somebody just liked your photo or they liked your profile, but they had nothing else to say. So I think that's a strategy on OurTime's part to get people to sign up for their dating website. As for how much the cost is, I think for a 6-month membership is just over $100, so that is kind of pricey. OurTime does, I think they do have a 1-month membership you can sign up for, but most people probably sign up for 6 months. And the reason they sign up for 6 months is because OurTime keeps sending special offers on your emails and hopefully that you will sign up. So I think the first special offer I got was around 30 or 35% off the regular price. And then about a week later, they sent me another email saying 50% off. And then about a week after that, when they still didn't get a bite, I got an offer of 65% off, which is the best it ever got as a membership discount. So I let this go for a few months, and the same deals would show up, within a few weeks of each other. So I knew if I waited long enough, the 65% discount would roll around again. And yes, I finally did sign up and pay for an OurTime membership in late December 2019, and it cost me around $42 for 6 months. So that's not too bad for a paying website. So now that I'm in and paid, I actually decided to put a little bit of effort into this, and I uploaded quite a lot of photos. Paying members are allowed to upload up to 30 photos. I think I had about 17. I didn't have quite 20, but I had just under 20 photos. So I had a lot of photos of myself, my horses, my dogs, just kind of showing what my lifestyle is. And there was one fellow, and he's a retired firefighter in a nearby town, and he had some photos up of him and his dogs, and they're really cute. So I had actually liked them before I became a paying membership, and then he sent me a message back. but I couldn't actually read it until I signed in, until I bought a membership. And basically, it was just like, oh yeah, hi, thanks for liking my photo, and what can you tell me about yourself? So the fact that Mike was able to write a message tells me that he's probably a paying member. But before I signed up for OurTime, I was reading reviews, and a lot of people, well, the main complaint is there's just no quality matches on OurTime, and then there's scammers on OurTime, and then they were also saying, that their credit cards were charged after they had canceled their membership, and they also talked about OurTime staff. And OurTime is owned by another group that also owns Match.com. So apparently the staff are playing with profiles and to generate interest to people, to either get them to sign up or pay for a membership, or stick around. Another mosquito. And I think that's what happened with Mike. That he was just the staff kind of playing games with me. And the reason I say that is because when you get your matches, you can look at matches on OurTime, but there's also paid advertising for Match.com, and there's about 4 or 5 guys that show up in the Match.com ad, and there was Fireman Mike as one of those guys. So that's why I think. I don't know whether Mike actually has an OurTime profile or not, or whether it was just kind of hijacked by the OurTime staff to create a profile in OurTime to generate interest. You know. Anyway, it didn't really work out for me. I didn't. When you search for people, you can put in your search parameters, and one of the things I put in is no smokers. Smoking, huge deal breaker for me. But OurTime kept matching me with smokers, not, in addition to the email with the 8 eligible bachelors that you get every day, you also, if you're a paying member, when you log in, you've got 30 daily matches. So you can look at them and you can either like or pass them, or, move on. And in that group of 30, there would be 5, 6 smokers, which is really annoying. And sometimes you can see just from the thumbnail, it'll show a bit of the guy's profile. So sometimes you can see on there that he's a smoker, and other times you actually click onto his profile and realize, oh, geez, he's a smoker. So in this case, and the other thing I did, I put for my search parameters, looking for men between 53 and 73, and OurTime kept putting men into my matches that were under the age of 53. I never saw anyone over 73. That wouldn't have bothered me as much as under. But clearly, as a matching site, OurTime sucks. It just sends you matches that are outside of your search parameters. And I didn't really have a lot of search parameters other than age and no smoking, which is a deal breaker. I don't care if somebody's tall or overweight or whatever race, whatever religion. This does not exclude people. People, being a kind, compassionate human being is the most important thing over what you look like. Though I will say I do not like men. Well, I shouldn't say don't like men. For me, I don't like facial hair. So that's kind of a turnoff for me. And I can tell you that there are more bearded wonders on OurTime than just about any other dating website out there. Anyway, I've also written a blog post so that you can take a look at it. I'll leave the link in the description. And I talk more about some of the men that I met there, and some of the really weird scammers. Like, I was even matched with a woman once. Like, Lisa, I don't think so. And then some guy who had a picture up of the Queen of England is a match for me too. So it's just really odd what you get matched with OurTime. And there's one other feature in OurTime this is kind of helpful for free members. There's a chat feature. So there's a little box up that comes up with people that are available to chat, which just means that they're online right now. And you can also see when people are online, because Match does write that in the, if you looked at their profile, it says online now, and you could click and chat and see if they want to chat with you. So I think that's the way a lot of scammers get hold of you. I had got hit up quite a few times when I was on by various scammers. Like there was one guy, he had no photo. So I said, hey, why don't you have a photo? And he goes, maybe I'm shy. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, maybe you're married. I don't know. And then another guy, he told me he was from New Hampshire, I think, but he was in the U.S. Army and he was stationed in Afghanistan. So I chat back to him and I go, hey, you're too old to be stationed overseas. Why is the U.S. Army violating its own military law? Anyway, he didn't answer me. He must have figured, oh, she's on to me, you know. But yeah, that's the other thing. If you're in our time and the age parameters, you know, mature singles, you know, you're older, over the age of 50, these scammers that come up with the lines that they're in the military, which is a very common strategy that scammers use because they seem to think all women like a man in uniform, and not necessarily so. But yeah, you know, older men are not in the military in active war zones. They just aren't. That's unfortunate. That's where they send the younger guys. You know, you know, if you're in your 60s or 70s and there's a missile coming at you, you gotta be gumbooting it out of there really fast. So the army is not sending old guys at retirement age into active war zones. They just aren't. But scammers don't quite get that. They have their story and they stick with that no matter what age they've used in the profile. And speaking of age, there was one guy, I looked at his profile, and he's looking for a woman between the ages of 34 and 41 on our time, which is for singles over the age of 50. Like, what kind of a genius does that? But anyway, no, I eventually did cancel my membership with Our Time. I did have a chat with a few guys, but, you know, nice guys, but just nothing that was going to turn into a romantic match. So that was my experience, and I would say the same to you. You know, if you want to go in for a few months, just wait until you see a special offer show up in your mailbox from Our Time if you've signed up as a freebie member. And then once you've got that, you can go in and look around for a few months. Once you get that 65% discount, don't pay full price because they'll entice you. And in fact, when I was leaving at the end of 6 months, they also enticed me to stick around and were offering me a 50% discount to stick around for another 6 months. But my my time with Our Time was done. So that's Cheryl from Lifestyle Digs, and I'm just sharing with you today my recommendations of Our Time and not worth wasting your money on. Bye bye for now.